Leos, welcome to your weekly Sidereal Astrology forecast. This is for October 17th to the 23rd of 2016. I'm Athen, and this channel is about using the actual constellations in the sky known as Sidereal Astrology. If you are new to the channel, be sure to check out the link down below for more information. All right, so Leos, this week we have a few things going on that are quite important. The most important being that Mars is going to be conjoining up to Pluto. So very transformational, there's a lot of this change happening, and I think this week there's certainly this collective importance of change, willingness to change and to cultivate some new things. But of course, to cultivate new things, we do have to let go of the old. We have to break some old patterns and detach from what might be some past energy. So this is all having to do with your fifth house this week. This is where Pluto's been. This is where Mars has been these past couple weeks. And if you've been noticing maybe lately a bit more of a directness to your self-expression, maybe for some of you a bit more motivated to cultivate your interests or hobbies, anything close to the heart, your creations. And so now it's the time to maybe make some changes with this. And on the most fundamental level, I think it's about diving deep to see if there are any fears, if there are any inhibitions that might be preventing you from expressing yourself, from enjoying the things that you are passionate about in life. So this is internal in terms of your inner self-expression, and the medium might be creative, might be playful, might be fun, on that level, but it could also be an external thing, such as any projects, any type of, again, things that you create. So with that being said, Pluto does bring up to the surface a lot of the things that we want to, the energy about ourselves that wants things to be a certain way. And so that's why it's so important to sort of take a step back with this, to be centered, to see again if we have any fears or inhibitions, because it's really from these fears that we have this desire to control things or have things be a certain way. And so long as we are centered and we are detached as best as we can from the ego, from those desires, those things we want, then the true power of Pluto comes through, the true power of change. Because the fact of the matter is that with Pluto, this is about breaking old patterns, breaking old belief systems, and really breaking the ego, in the sense that once we let go of these past patterns, it then frees us up. And it frees us up here to express ourselves, to cultivate the things we enjoy in life, etc. So a fantastic week for that. I think it's a great time to, again, dive deep and see what changes you can make, particularly with breaking old patterns, so you can make way for some new energy here with your self-expression. And I can't stress enough the importance of detachment, right? Letting it go, being okay with what happens, being okay with the outcome, whatever it might be. That really is very important with Pluto. Now, Mars does also rule a couple other key areas for you, one of which is your fourth house and the other is your ninth house. So this could be some changes occurring this week with your home life, maybe with your health, family, these types of matters, your roots basically. And also too with your adventurous spirit, seeing what's possible in life and expanding your horizons, making some changes with that, making some changes with your belief system. And again, things might come up. Pluto's a very deep planet, but the more open you are to both being aware of and accepting these deeper things and making change with these patterns, I think you'll definitely see some positive energy moving forward with your self-expression, a freedom of self-expression, a power of your self-expression once you're no longer identified with it. And the same for your roots, your home, family, health, and also your adventurous spirits, possibilities, expanding your horizons. Okay, so those are the key areas. Again, most important thing going on this week, we'll be exact, on Wednesday. And I think this whole first half of this whole work week, really just an excellent time to make those changes there. All right, so that's the Mars conjunction. We also do have Mercury opposing up to Uranus. So on this note, this is all about balance. Nothing new here. In fact, this is regarding the fact that there's been a lot of focus lately and even positive energy for you to cultivate your material life right now. Could be finances, but internally it's fundamentally your sense of self-reliance, becoming more self-reliant, cultivating your sense of self-worth, your self-confidence, understanding that yes, you can cultivate your values in life and understanding more about what your time's worth, what your energy's worth, these types of things. So this is all expanding. There's a lot to learn about it. I think it's still an excellent time for you to continue to cultivate these inner and outer resources, especially this week, because we're going to be in the third quarter phase. So it's a good time to take action, take steps towards this, even in regards to any insights you gained last week about some of this. But anyways, with this opposition up to Uranus, balance. And this is Uranus in the 8th house, which has been helping you free up the deeper side of life. In other words, through this transformation, and this goes very much hand in hand with this Pluto aspect, but through this transformation, through this willingness to dive deep, and even with Chiron, to do some healing with the deeper side. In other words, to again, dive deep with yourself psychologically, dive deep with yourself spiritually. All right, the more willing you are to accept and connect on that deeper level, and basically just have openness and intimacy with life, openness and intimacy with yourself, accepting self, accepting life, but diving deep to do that. I think you can find that very liberating with Uranus here. So if you do feel like there's something that this week is pulling you to make some changes, you want some freedom in your life, so there is this bit of depth and intensity and just raw, real good stuff in life, the stuff that really matters, then definitely listen to that, okay? But watch any extremes, because of course there's this earthly energy, the 2nd house opposite the 8th house, which is the deeper stuff, and it's about balancing the two, that we really can't have one without the other. Yes, we need deep truth in life, but we also do need the sensual enjoyments in the material life taken care of, all right? I think it's a great week for both. Finding the balance, integrating both, and as a result, I think you'll be very keen on the inner values, which is the 8th house, and the outer values, which is the 2nd. Okay, because we really can't have one without the other. They're really just two sides of the same coin. What we truly value in life is deep, right? This is the material side of it, and the deeper side does have a material counterpart. In other words, we have to be grounded in earth. We have to be grounded in our senses and our enjoyments of things. All right, so that's that opposition, and Venus is going to be going into your 4th house. So yes, things are certainly continuing to develop, I think, with your roots. Maybe it's home, family, health. This has been a serious area for you. I think it's great this week to continue to take seriously these roots in your life, which has been Saturn. And now Venus, though, can help you perhaps enjoy some of this. In fact, Venus likes to be at the bottom of the chart. This is where you could enjoy a bit of family life, maybe spending some time at home, a bit of privacy, and with your health, connecting to your body, right? Listening to your body and all of that. So as Venus does get closer to Saturn, I think it'll continue to be more about this patience and persistence with this, but I think you'll notice this week this shift of perhaps enjoying more of these roots in your life. All right, Leo, so that's the week in a nutshell, definitely emphasizing this conjunction with Mars and Pluto, this transformation with your self-expression, of what happens when we detach from our self-expression, and the power that arises from that, and the willingness to change arises and happens as well. Mercury opposing up to Uranus, reminding us the importance of continuing to cultivate your values in life. But yes, things in life must matter, right? Things must have that deeper component to them. And Venus shifting into the 4th, a bit of enjoyment for those roots. All right, Leo, so have a fantastic week. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week.